Welcome back to our channel, Coin Lovers. Today, we are diving deep into the world of United States quarter dollars. We'll uncover the history, mintage, design, eras, and values of 5 iconic quarters: the 1965, 1967, 1972, 1978, and the 1980 quarter dollar. Make sure to watch till the very end, because some of these coins could be worth far more than their face value, especially if you have rare eras or high-grade examples hiding in your collection or pocket change.
Today, we're diving deep into one of the most historic and important coins in U.S. history, the 1965 Washington quarter. This coin isn't just another piece of change, it represents a major turning point in American coinage history. In this video, we'll explore why the 1965 the quarter was so special, what makes it unique, the errors you should be looking for, and of course, the current values that collectors pay today. So, make sure to watch till the end, because some of these quarters could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. To understand the 1965 quarter, we need to step back a little. From 1932 to 1964, the Washington quarter was made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver quarters were not only used in circulation but also treasured for their precious metal content. However, by the early 1960s, the price of silver started to rise dramatically. People realized that the silver content in their coins were worth more than the face value. This led to massive coin hoarding. People pulled quarters, dimes, and half dollars out of circulation and kept them for their silver value. By 1964, the U.S. Treasury and the Mint were facing a serious coin shortage. To solve this crisis, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965. And here's the key change: starting in 1965, dimes and quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, they switched to a copper-nickel clad composition with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This was a huge moment in U.S. coinage history, and the 1965 quarter was the very first clad quarter ever produced. Even though the metal composition changed, the design of the quarter stayed the same. The familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington faces left, with the word liberty above and "In God we trust" to the left. The date 1965 sits below Washington's bust. The heraldic bald eagle design, with wings spread wide, holding arrows of defense and an olive branch of peace. The words United States of America and E pluribus unum appear above, with the denomination quarter dollar at the bottom. Even though the design didn't change, collectors immediately noticed the difference in color and feel between the old silver quarters and the new clad ones. The Mint knew that people would still hoard coins, so they produced an enormous number of 1965 quarters to keep them in circulation. In total, more than 1.8 billion, yes, billion, quarters were struck in 1965. That's one of the largest mintages of any U.S. coin at that time. Another interesting fact: no mint marks were used in 1965, 1966, and 1967. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins by mint location. That means all 1965 quarters look the same, regardless of whether they were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now here's where it gets exciting for collectors. Despite the massive mintage, there are rare and valuable error coins. From 1965. Silver transitional error most famous. A few 1965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets. From 1964. These coins look similar to clad quarters, but weigh 6.25 grams instead of 5.67 grams. If you find one of these, it could be worth $5,000 to $10,000 or more depending on condition. Some 1965 quarters show doubling in the lettering, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust. Depending on strength, these can be worth $50 to several $100s. A piece of the coin is missing due to a misfeed during striking. These can sell for $20 to $200, depending on size and shape. Quarters struck with misalignment, sometimes missing part of the design. A 50% off-center error could bring $300 to $500. Struck on wrong planchet. Rare cases where a quarter design was struck on a dime or nickel planchet. These mistakes are extremely valuable and can sell for thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about what a regular 1965 quarter is worth. Circulate condition: most are worth only face value 25 cents since they were made in huge numbers. Uncirculated condition: high grade examples, especially and above, can fetch $10 to $50. Gem examples: rare and can be worth $1,000 or more. Proof-like or special errors: thousands of dollars depending on rarity. But remember, the silver transitional error is the holy grail of 1965 quarters. If you're checking your change or coin roll hunting, here's what to do. Weigh the coin. Normal clad, 5.67 grams. Silver transitional, 6.25 grams. Edge color. Clad quarters show a copper-colored stripe on the edge. Silver quarters look solid silver all the way around. Sound test. Silver quarters make a higher pitched ring compared to clad coins when dropped. If you're collecting 1965 quarters, focus on high-grade uncirculated coins. For value, keep an eye out for error coins there. The real treasure. Always weigh and inspect your 1965 quarters, especially if they look different from the rest. The 1965 Washington quarter may seem common, but it tells an incredible story about America's economy, silver shortage, and the evolution of coinage. While most are worth just 25 cents, some hidden rarities can bring in thousands of dollars. So next time you find a 1965 quarter in your change, don't overlook it. You might just be holding a piece of history or even a small fortune. Next, quarter dollar 1967. Let's start with a little background. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932, honoring the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first U.S. President. Originally, these quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper up until 1964. But then came the Coinage Act of 1965, when the U.S. Mint decided to remove silver from circulating dimes and quarters, replacing them with a copper-nickel clad composition. This was a big change in U.S. coin history. By 1965, 1966, and 1967, the mint was under pressure because of a severe coin shortage in circulation. To fix this, the mint took special steps. They stopped putting mint marks on coins between 1965 to 1967. So, no matter where your 1967 quarter was struck, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it carries no mint mark. They also halted the production of proof sets for collectors during those 3 years. Instead, they issued something called Special Mint Sets, SMS. This makes the 1967 quarter unique because it exists both as a regular circulation strike and as a special mint set coin with a sharper, satin-like finish. The design is classic Washington quarter style, a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The word Liberty is above, the motto In God We Trust to the left, and the date 1967 at the bottom features a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches below. The inscriptions include United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination quarter dollar. Though simple, the design is iconic and instantly recognizable. The U.S. Mint struck a huge number of these quarters to solve the coin shortage. Regular strike 1967 quarters over 1.5 billion pieces were produced. Special Mint Set, SMS, 1967 quarters. Around 1.8 million sets were made, and these coins have a distinct appearance, often with a satin or proof-like finish. Because of the high mintage, most 1967 quarters are still worth only face value in circulated condition. But some special finds can change everything. This is where things get exciting for collectors. The 1967 Washington quarter is famous for a number of errors and varieties that can make it valuable. Look for doubling in the date 1967, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. These are scarce and can be worth anywhere from $100 to $1,000 plus, depending on condition. Doubling may appear on the eagles, feathers, or the lettering. Less common, but still collectible. Some coins were struck off-center. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value, often $50 to $500 depending on how much is missing. A small curved piece missing from the coin's edge. Collectors love these, with values between $20 and $200. Rare mistakes where one side of the coin is fully impressed with the reverse or obverse design. These can fetch hundreds to even thousands. Transitional errors. In very rare cases, some collectors believe test strikes might have been made on leftover silver planchets. While not confirmed for 1967, if such a coin were found, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. When it comes to value, the condition is king. A circulated 1967 quarter is usually just 25 cents. In uncirculated condition and above it, can bring $10 to $30. A high grade could fetch $200 to $500. The rarest, or higher, may go for $2,000 or more at auction. For SMS coins, in regular condition, they're worth just a few dollars. But if the coin has deep cameo contrast, where the frosted design pops against a mirror-like background, it can sell for $200 to over $1,000 depending on grade. If you want to collect 1967 quarters, here are some tips. Always check for doubling with a magnifier. Pay attention to SMS coins with cameo or deep cameo finishes. Look for unusual errors like off-centers and clipped planchets. Store your coins properly in airtight holders to prevent scratches or tarnishing. So, while the 1967 Washington quarter may seem like just another common coin, it's packed with history, varieties, and hidden treasures. From the massive production during the coin shortage era to the special mint set editions and fascinating mint errors, it remains a must-have for serious collectors. Who knows, the next 1967 quarter you find in your pocket change could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the first president of the United States. The design features Washington's profile on the obverse, created by sculptor John Flanagan. On the reverse, we see the majestic bald eagle, a symbol of American strength and freedom. Now, coming to 1972, this was a fascinating year in American history. The U.S. was facing the Vietnam War. President Richard Nixon was re-elected. The Apollo space program was still sending astronauts to the moon. Amidst all this, millions of Washington quarters were minted for circulation. The 1972 Washington quarter was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia Mint No Mint Mark, 215,048,000 pieces. Denver Mint D Mint Mark, 311,067,732 pieces. San Francisco Mint S Mint Mark, 3,260,996 proof coins. In total, more than 500 million quarters were produced in 1972, making it a very common year for circulation. But within these millions, a few special varieties and errors make certain coins extremely valuable. The 1972 quarter was part of the clad coinage series. Unlike pre-1965 quarters, which contained 90% silver, the 1972 quarter has outer layers, 75% copper and 25% nickel. Core, pure copper. This gives the coin a total weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Because it lacks silver, the intrinsic metal value is low, just a few cents. However, condition, rarity, and errors are what make the 1972 quarter collectible. Portrait of George Washington facing left. Inscriptions Liberty at the top, IN God. We Trust on the left, and the date. 1972 at the bottom. If minted in Denver or San Francisco, a small D or S mint mark appears right of Washington's hair ribbon. A bold eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows with olive branches. Below. The inscriptions United States of America e pluribus unum and quarter dollar. This is where the 1972 quarter becomes exciting. Collectors actively hunt for error coins because they can be worth hundreds of times more than face value. Some well-known 1972 quarter errors include: some coins show doubling on the inscriptions Liberty and IN God We Trust. Depending on strength, these can sell from $50 to over $500 in high-grade coins struck off-center with part of the design missing are collectible. A 10 to 20% off-center 1972 quarter can bring $100 to $250. A small piece of the metal blank is missing, creating a clipped edge. Values range from $30 to $150. Extremely rare. If a 1972 quarter was accidentally struck on a nickel, dime, or foreign coin blank, it can be worth $1,000 or more. Raised blobs of metal from a cracked die can add value, typically $20 to $100. Let's talk about how much a 1972 quarter is worth today. Circulate condition usually just 25 cents. Uncirculated around $2 to $10. Gem condition can range from $50 to $400, especially for quarters with beautiful luster and no marks. Proof coins 1972 S typically $5 to $15. But cameo or deep cameo proofs can go higher. Rare errors, as mentioned, from $100 to over $1,000 depending on type. Auction records show that some 1972 D quarters have sold for more than $1,000 because of their rarity in high grade. If you want to find a valuable 1972 quarter, check change carefully. Doubled dies and off-center strikes can be found in circulation. Look at mint marks. Denver coins are common, but Philadelphia coins in top grade are harder to find. Search proof sets. Some 1972 S proofs display stunning deep cameo contrast. Always use a magnifier. Small errors can be missed by the naked eye. The 1972 Washington quarter may not contain silver, but it holds a special place in U.S. coinage history with its beautiful design, high mintage, and the potential for valuable errors. It remains a favorite among collectors. Next, quarter dollar 1978. The 1978 quarter dollar belongs to the long-running Washington quarter series, which started in 1932. The design was introduced to honor the 200th birth anniversary of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Originally, the quarter was supposed to be a one-year commemorative coin in 1932. But because the design was so popular, it became the permanent quarter dollar coin from 1934 onward. By 1978, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for more than 4 decades. Interestingly, 1978 was the second to last year before the famous Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced. In 1979, and just a few years before. Major changes in U.S. coinage design. The obverse of the 1978 quarter features a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head, you will see the word liberty. To the left of his neck, the motto "I in God we trust" is inscribed. The date 1978 is positioned at the bottom. If minted in Denver, you'll notice a small D, a mint mark just above the date. If there's no mint mark, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. The reverse showcases a bold heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows symbolizing defense and strength. Below the eagle, an olive branch represents peace. Around the top edge, the inscription reads United States of America. And just beneath that, the phrase E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. At the bottom, you'll find the denomination quarter dollar. This eagle reverse design was used all the way from 1932 to 1998 before being replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. The 1978 quarter is part of the clad coinage era. Earlier quarters before 1965 were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, but starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. Metal composition, 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel. Weight, 5.67 grams. Diameter, 24.3 millimeters. Thickness, 1.75 millimeters. Edge, reeded, with grooves. This change was made because of rising silver prices in the 1960s, which made it too expensive to keep producing silver quarters. Minting locations and mintage. The 1978 quarter was minted in two main locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark over 521 million coins were struck. Denver Mint, D, mint mark over 287 million coins were produced. That's a massive total of more than 808 million quarters minted in 1978. Because of this high mintage, most 1978 quarters are considered common coins today. Circulation and everyday use. Back in 1978, these coins were widely used for everyday transactions. They bought you a soda, a candy bar, or even a few minutes on a payphone. Unlike modern quarters, which often have special designs, the 1978 quarter was part of the standard Eagle Reverse series, making it instantly recognizable to anyone living during that era. Collector value and grading. Now, let's talk about the part everyone is curious about: value. In circulated condition, a 1978 quarter is generally worth only its face value of 25 cents, since so many were minted. However, uncirculated examples and above can sell for $1 to $5. In high mint state grades like or MS-66, they may reach $20 to $40. The rarest are coins graded MS-67 and above, where prices can shoot up to $500 or more, depending on quality and demand. For proof coins, only special sets were made at the San Francisco Mint, which carry higher values depending on condition, varieties and errors. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting coins is hunting for errors and varieties, and the 1978 quarter has some known ones. Some of the errors include off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, double dies letters or numbers appear doubled, clipped planchets where a small piece of the coin's edge is missing, struck on the wrong planchet. Sometimes a quarter was mistakenly struck on a dime or nickel planchet. Such error coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and demand, collectability and popularity. While the 1978 quarter is not considered rare, it is an important piece for collectors who want to complete their Washington quarter sets. It represents a time period right before the big changes in U.S. coinage, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar and the later 1999 state quarters program. Collectors often look for high-grade mint state coins, proof versions, error coins. Interesting facts. The eagle reverse design seen on the 1978 quarter was last used in 1998. In 1978, the average U.S. wage was about $2.65 per hour, meaning a single the quarter was worth more in purchasing power compared to today. Because so many 1978 quarters were made, finding one in circulation today is still fairly easy, even though it's almost 50 years old. Conclusion. So there you have it, the 1978 Washington quarter dollar. A coin rich in history, featuring the timeless portrait of George Washington, struck in huge numbers, making it common but still collectible, and with potential value if you find a high-grade example or an error variety. The next time you see a 1978 quarter in your change, don't just spend it, take a closer look. You might just be holding a little piece of history that could be worth more than you think. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The design was created by John Flanagan, and it replaced the standing Liberty quarter. By 1980, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years, and it was one of the most widely recognized coins in America. The year 1980 is significant in the U.S. coinage history because the country was still using quarters made of copper-nickel clad composition. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a clad composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. So, the 1980 D quarter is not silver, it is a clad coin. The D mint mark on the 1980 D quarter stands for the Denver Mint in Colorado. In that year, the Denver Mint struck a massive number of these coins. 518,327,487 quarters. That's more than 500 million coins. With such a huge mintage, most 1980 D Quarters are common, and many are still found in circulation today. Specifications of the 1980 D quarter. $. Designer, John Flanagan. Bust of George Washington, facing left. With liberty above, in God we trust. To the left, and the year 1980 below. The mint mark D is found to the right of Washington's ponytail. Features an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath. Composition, copper-nickel clad 75%. Copper, 25% nickel over a pure copper core. Weight, 5.67 grams. Diameter, 24.3 millimeters. Edge, reeded. Since the 1980 D quarter is a common clad coin, most examples found in circulation is only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, for coin collectors, the value increases dramatically if the coin is in mint state condition or has a special error. Circulated condition, 25 cents to $1. Uncirculated mint state 60 to 63 $2 to $5. High mint state MS 65 around $20 to $30. Gem quality can sell between $500 and $1,000. Top grade extremely rare, some examples have crossed the $2,000 mark. At auction, the value mainly comes from the coin's grade. The fewer scratches, bag marks, or signs of wear it has, the more valuable it becomes. What really excites collectors about the 1980 D quarter are the mint errors. Some rare mistakes can make a simple 25-cent coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here are a few to look out for. Off-center strikes. If the design is not properly centered, the coin can be worth $50 to $200 depending on how far off it is. Clipped planchet. A coin missing a curved section from the edge. These errors can sell for $30 to $100 plus. Double die errors. Coins that show doubling on the lettering or numbers. A strong double die can be worth hundreds. Struck on the wrong planchet. Occasionally, a quarter may be struck on a nickel or penny planchet. These are extremely rare and can be worth thousands. Broad strikes and misaligned dies. These errors cause unusual shapes and missing details, often valued between $50 and $200. So, always check your 1980 D quarters carefully, because error coins can turn pocket change into real treasure. If you think you have a rare or high-grade 1980 D quarter, the best step is to send it for grading. The most trusted grading services are PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. A coin graded or higher by or NGC can sell for big money at auctions, as collectors compete for the finest examples. When grading, experts look at luster, the coins shine, strike, how sharp the details are, surface preservation, scratches, marks, or wear. Eye appeal. Even a small difference in grade, say from, can increase the coin's value by hundreds of dollars. To give you a real example, a 1980 D Washington quarter graded by has sold for over $1,000 in past auctions. And in some cases, coins with dramatic Mint errors have sold for even more. This shows that while the majority of 1980 D quarters are common, there are rare gems that serious collectors will pay a fortune to own. So to wrap it up, the 1980 D quarter dollar may seem like just another coin in your change, but it carries history, fascinating details, and hidden value. Most are worth only 25 cents, but high-grade coins and rare errors can make them worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you come across a shiny, well-preserved 1980 D quarter, don't spend it just yet. Check for errors. Consider grading it, and who knows, it might be a hidden treasure. So there you have it, the fascinating history and collector's value of the 1965, 1967, 1972, 1978, and 1980 D quarters. Most of these coins are still found in circulation, but condition and rare errors can turn an ordinary pocket change coin into a collector's treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Do you have any of these quarters in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin stories, values, and hidden treasures. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.